Welcome to Zen Meditation Planet Channel.
The East African sandalwood, Osyris lanceolata, is an evergreen shrub belonging to family Santalaceae and grows to a height of 1 to 7 meters depending on the soils, climatic conditions, and genetic variation.
This project is about Osyris lanceolata, which is also commonly known as East African sandalwood. It's one of the endangered tree species, endangered by trade mainly in Uganda. Currently, we do not know the stock in the wild in Uganda.
The species is drought resistant, grows on poor sites, mostly on rocky ridges, mountain slopes, margin of evergreen bushlands, grasslands, and thickets. The species is a hemp parasite that gains water and nutrients from the host plant. Host plants like Rhus natalensis promote the early growth of Osyris lanceolata, the East African sandalwood, in terms of height, diameter, and the overall root and shoot biomass.
Diameter, tree number 2. This is 5.71 centimeters. Height, to 3, yeah. So 3 meters.
Osyris lanceolata, the East African sandalwood, is a perennial and can survive for more than 50 years in its natural stand and can take about 15 to 20 years to grow to optimum size. Following the need to understand the harvesting, processing, transport, uses, regulations, and look-alike species of sandalwood in Uganda, the Ministry of Water and Environment, through the Forest Sector Support Department, carried out a study in Moroto, Nakapiripirit, Bukwo, and Tororo districts. This activity contributes knowledge that is required in ensuring that trade and utilization of species, both at national and international levels, is non-detrimental to its survival in the wild.
We have a number of documents that have been developed. One, to start with the inventory of the stocks that exist. We get to appreciate better what it is that we have and where it's located and in terms of quantities. But then also we've developed documents because it improves also decision making on whether we can actually allow for trade, or we can institute a local ban to prevent, to allow the species, to allow regeneration and capacity building for both the regulators, but then also for the system in place.
Osyris, me what I'm seeing, you yourself may be having land. You could raise nursery. We are looking at, can we have people planting Osyris in plantation so that the ban which is and the team have slapped on Osyris can be lifted, because there will be already the plantation population which can be harvested on permits.
In Uganda, sandalwood has been mainly recorded in Karamoja sub-region districts of Nakapiripirit, Kotido, Kabong, Amuriat, Moroto, and around Mount Elgin in Bukwo, Kapchora, and Kwen. Sandalwood over the years has been traded for its fragrance, medicinal value and religious value, and wood carving potential.
Apparently, it has good perfume oil in the heartwood and in the roots. So when they're logging it or when they harvest it, they actually uproot the whole tree because the concentration is high in the roots and in the stem. For that reason, some of the areas in Karamoja where this species is known to be well stocked were kind of illegally encroached, and people started harvesting it. Much as this harvesting was being done in community areas, but it was extensively done. So there are fears or there are concerns from the conservation organizations and also from Ministry of Water and Environment that this species might be locally extinct if measures are not taken in place, are not put in place to conserve it in the wild especially.
The main traded products include aromatic oils extracted from the heartwood, timber for handicrafts, and sawdust for making incense. The oil is useful in perfumery, pharmaceutical, cosmetics, medical, and local culture practices. Although no clear record exists on the trade of Osyris lanceolata, sandalwood, it is estimated that 1,000 tons are annually harvested from Africa, and most from East Africa. The destination countries of East African sandalwood and its products are mainly India, France, United Kingdom, United States of America, Germany, South Africa, United Arab Emirates, among others. The Convention on International Trade of Endangered Species, CITES, aims at ensuring that international trade in specimens of wild animals and plant species doesn't threaten their survival. Uganda ratified the CITES in 1991 and acknowledged the need for international cooperation to combat trade in endangered species. At the 16th meeting of the Cooperation of Parties to CITES in Bangkok, Thailand, 2013, the population of sandalwood in East African countries were listed in Appendix 2. The listing followed consultations among the East African range states and submission by Kenya of a proposal of the parties alongside the species listing, adopted Decision 16.153 and 16.154 on actions for implementation to enhance the conservation of the species across its range. Therefore, it is a fundamental obligation of CITES member countries to present a non-detrimental finding prior to any export of a product listed in Appendix 2 of the Convention. Monitoring and control trade in sandalwood in Uganda is charged with different institutions at the national and local levels.
Also developed tools. For example, we have that document, the document-based tracking system, whereby the system actually equips us with the means to trace the products from the point of production up to, along the value chain, and that is good. It's something that does not only stop at osyris, but also a number of other species like Prunus africana, which is also CITES listed among others within Uganda. So we believe that the project is helping a lot. Has helped us to widen our understanding, as in to transfer some of this, the knowledge gained, to managing other forest products. And then we also have, under the project, we've also managed to produce a development strategy for the species. And with that, it gives us the opportunity to understand how best to manage the species in the immediate term, the mid-term, and also in the long term.
At the national levels, the institutes include Forest Sector Support Department, National Forestry Authority, CITES Management Authority under the Ministry of Wildlife, Tourism and Antiquities, Uganda Wildlife Authority, Uganda Revenue Authority, and Environmental Police. At the district local level, there is the District Natural Resources Office, the District Forestry Services, and the District Police Office. Despite the presence of such structures at the national and local levels, Uganda lacks a well-established system of monitoring and control of trade in sandalwood. This can be attributed to the porous nature of the borders and remote ecological distributions, as well as limited infrastructure capacity of the respective entities. The responsible stakeholders and institutions in Uganda have limited capacity to monitor and control illegal trade of sandalwood. The study shows that few people, both the district and community level, are able to identify sandalwood and its uses. The people who could vividly identify sandalwood were the district forestry officer, the forest ranger, herbalists, charcoal dealers, and elderly people in the community. A systematic review and synthesis of information from technical reports and research articles with a focus on sandalwood, majorly within the Eastern African range states, was conducted to understand the growth form, harvesting, trade, processing, local uses, control and monitoring of sandalwood, to understand the legal and institutional provisions that guide and aid research, sensitization, production, harvesting, protection, monitoring and control of trade in the species. Relevant regulatory and institutional frameworks were also reviewed. This further enabled the research to contexts under which different control and monitoring activities are implemented. Despite the government ban on the trade of sandalwood in Uganda, the current unregulated local uses of the species, especially for fuel wood and construction, the persistence of illegal trade in the species and the low regeneration of the species may threaten the survival of the species in the wild. Therefore, there is need to engage the relevant stakeholders to effectively regulate the use and trade in the species and increase the population of the species in Uganda.